Western Final has thus far been a homespun success story. In games 1 and 2 in Portland, the Blazers played well enough to send the Suns home to Phoenix down 2-0. But back in the desert, Cotton Fitzsimmons' squad wove and spun a 2-game win streak of their own. And now it's Phoenix which seems to have momentum on its side. This series has taken on the aura of the Wild West, with both sides charging. The stage is set for Act 5. Will the Blazers keep the home fires burning? Or will the Suns dance off with the series lead?
Welcome to the Memorial Coliseum, where the 578th consecutive sellout is on hand for Game 5 of this Western Conference Final. And good evening, everyone. I'm James Brown, and welcome to this primetime edition of the 1990 NBA playoffs on CBS. Well, this series between the Suns and Trailblazers is all tied up at 2 games apiece. Each game, each team holding serve on its home court. So it's now down to a 3-game series, and if Phoenix has any hopes of moving on to the championship round, it must find a way to win here in Portland for the first time since 1984. Now to set the stage further, let's go down to the guys who will be calling the action tonight, Vern Lundquist and Lynn Elmore.
I'm having a little trouble hearing you, JB. You're so right. The series is tied at 2 games apiece, but there's been an unusual tilt to it. The 2 games here in Portland decided by a total of only 3 points, while down in the desert, the Suns dominated in winning their 2 games. And Lenny, one has the feeling that Phoenix seems on the edge of making a breakthrough here in Portland.
Well, certainly the Suns felt that after the first 2 games here, they were the perfect guest. They gave a lot of opportunities to the Trailblazers, and the Blazers obliged, capitalizing on Phoenix's poor offensive execution. But down in Phoenix, there was no such luck for the Trailblazers. They were aggressive offensively. They played great and tight defense inside. And frankly, the thing that they're doing is beating Portland at its own game. Portland was the regular season champions in rebounding, and now the Suns have a +6 margin here in rebounding in this series.
The amazing thing is not only is Phoenix winning on the rebounding edge, Portland is having problems on offense. They're looking for a spark that has yet to come.
Well, certainly Rick Adelman told us yesterday that he feels his team has to make it happen here. And by making it happen, he wants to see more activity in the lane, establish their advantage of height and weight. Also, they'd like to push the ball up and down the court, play a full-court game, much like the Suns did in Phoenix. I believe, though, if they don't make it happen, there's not going to be a Game 7.
We have a 4th member of our quartet who's joining us again tonight. She's somewhere in the midst of this noisy crowd. Here's Leslie Visser.
Vern, many fans know that the NBA playoffs are an endurance test. These teams have miles to go before they sweep. Well, no one has traveled more than the Portland Trailblazers. They've gone more miles than all of the other teams combined. In fact, this is their 12th game in 24 days. So we'll look to see if fatigue is a factor. By the way, the players cannot cash in on those frequent flyer miles. According to the NBA's collective bargaining agreement, those awards are returned back to the club. Vern?
All right, Leslie, that hardly seems fair. We'll be back with the starting lineups. A sellout crowd again in Portland. Game 5, Western Conference Finals.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Basketball Association Western Conference Finals is sponsored by Miller Lite, bringing you the exciting conclusion of the Tour de Light. UPS, fast, efficient service to more than 180 countries and territories worldwide. And by Dodge, for exciting cars and top trucks, it's Advantage Dodge.
While the frenzy in the crowd continues to build, let's check the starting lineups for both teams. First of all, for Phoenix, Tom Chambers and Kurt Rambis in the front court. They are joined in the backcourt by Jeff Hornacek and Kevin Johnson. And at center by Mark West. And the head coach, 58-year-old Cotton Fitzsimmons, now in his 17th year of coaching in the NBA, second in this turn at Phoenix. For Portland, Jerome Kersey, Buck Williams in the front court. The backcourt mates of Clyde Drexler and Terry Porter. And the center playing with a broken hand is Kevin Duckworth. And the head coach in his first full season now, one of the original members of the Portland Trail Blazers, 43-year-old Rick Adelman. The officials tonight, Darryl Garrettson, Joe Crawford, and Bill Oakes. Game 5. Series tied 2 games apiece. That man has had problems in the 2 games played here. Tip control by Rambis for Phoenix. And Kevin Johnson will be guarded by Terry Porter. Johnson looks to Jeff Hornacek. Inside quickly as they get Mark Weston involved. This is exactly what they did in Game 3 down in Phoenix.
Well, it's definitely their pattern to start working inside. It opens it up for those great perimeter shooters that they have.
Now Jerome Kersey goes right side. Buck Williams posting up on Rambis. They go instead to Drexler, who slips and kicks it back to Porter. Now Buck Williams 4 on the shot clock. Kevin Duckworth, that's off the mark. And it's taken by the Phoenix Suns. Johnson comes up the left side this time. Gets a pick on the pick and roll from Mark West. Chambers for 3. No. Clyde Drexler with the rebound. Underneath, Jerome Kersey. Goaltending.
Certainly what Rick Adelman wanted. He spoke about that to us yesterday, as we mentioned at the beginning of the telecast. His team is not going to walk it up like they did against Phoenix in the last game. They want to push the ball up court, get the easy opportunities. They're not shooting that well from the field.
Kevin Johnson, 2-2 ball game. Chambers. Back to Hornacek. There's a mismatch as Kersey comes out. Johnson penetrates, kicks back to Hornacek. Got it. No basket. 3-second violation.
I believe it was on Kurt Rambis. But what happens in situations like that is Kurt Rambis recognized someone was going to take the shot, and he got to the place where he wanted to get the offensive board. That's been Phoenix's strength, battling Portland on the board.
Drexler strong. Rejected, gets the ball back, can't get the shot. Hornacek for Phoenix, quickly in transition. It's a 2-on-3 circumstance, but Johnson takes the jumper.
Well, Kevin Johnson was out here about the time we arrived, which is about 4 o'clock this afternoon, Pacific time, working on that jump shot. So it pays dividends.
Across the corner, Jerome Kersey. Boy, if he hits that shot all night, that's a big bonus to Portland.
Well, the Blazers need that because Phoenix has definitely packed it in inside. They need someone to open it up, force Phoenix to come out and play some D.
Rambis hands it off to West. And Mark West has a quick 4 points.
Well, activity on defense is what Rick Adelman wanted. That time the Blazers peeled off, and Rambis with a nice pass found someone shooting the gap.
Drexler gets a nice roll.
That's the type of play that the Blazers want. The same thing that the Suns are doing.
6-6 ball game. Chambers. Foul on Buck Williams. And that will send Tom Chambers to the line.
Just let me further amplify. When I said that both teams want to play active type of offense and defense, on offense, the Blazers feel that they're standing around a lot. They're an excellent offensive rebounding team, but they've got to shoot the gaps and move off of the picks, not just stand there on the block out. The Suns are doing that, and that's why they've gotten so many more opportunities from the field, good opportunities, not in numbers, but in quality of shots.
Tom Chambers now 29 of 32 from the free throw line in this series, hitting at 90%. And that puts Phoenix back on top by a couple.
And the half-court set, let's look for some movement without the ball particularly.
Here's Kersey with the outside jumper again. Williams way up in the air for the rebound. And Buck Williams goes to the line. Foul is on Kurt Rambis.
All right, we talk about movement. Look to the left of your screen. Buck Williams gets physical with Kurt Rambis. He just didn't stand there and take the block out, which is what I was talking about before. You cannot stand there because you're so easy to defend and block out with your feet rooted to the ground. Buck Williams showing that he's going to be a force by being that active.
I wasn't real sure that one was going in. Those of you who are not familiar with the Trailblazers, Buck Williams out of the University of Maryland, acquired in the offseason in a major trade from the New Jersey Nets. And he is credited with helping turn this club around, winning 20 more games in 1989 and 90 than they did last year. Here's Porter underneath.
That's what movement without the ball will do for you. If it doesn't free you, it'll free someone else. Good execution by the Blazers.
Portland on top by 1. Jeff Hornacek backs off and peers inside. Good job defensively by Duckworth on West. Well, they're trying to get West involved as much as possible in the offense. That's for 3. Got it. A dagger.
And he practiced that one, too, this afternoon.
Yes, he did. Well, Kevin Johnson was hitting less than 30%, 33% in the 2 games here last week. So, quick start for Johnson. There's a rebound, and Johnson comes out. Knocked away. Phoenix will inbound. Rebounds now. Portland 4-3.
What's important, though, is that Portland is getting offensive rebounds. Buck Williams is more active, and that's what necessarily they have to do because they're not shooting the ball again.
Chambers, West. No. Harry Porter for Portland. See if Percy takes the shot that Chambers is going to give him. Up, tries to find Drexler. That'll be an over and back.
Portland is really misfiring on their main objective. They know Clyde Drexler has an advantage on Jeff Hornacek. Many times they want to get the ball to him in advantageous positions, but either Drexler can't handle it or too many people crowd his way to the basket.
Tom Chambers. This vociferous crowd wanted to travel. Don't get one. Kevin Duckworth.
You know, Vern, that's just not a good shot at this stage with so much riding on the line for a 7-footer to take.
It was kind of an impatient shot, wasn't it?
Certainly. He wants to get involved in the offense. I think his team has to set him up better, though.
Rambis, not much of an offensive threat, and then look what he does. The lead is 6. This is a Phoenix team that blew a 22-point lead here in Game 2 and wound up losing by 1.
That's a little better for Duckworth. Still, though, he's got to be able to step to the basket, use that strength.
Out Kevin Johnson. Porter goes for the steal. Nice touch pass underneath from Hornacek to West.
And it's such an unselfish team. They don't call plays, but they know each other so well. And they realize if they get open, they're going to get their hands on the ball.
Rick Adelman quick to call the timeout as his team has now fallen behind by 8 with 6:55 remaining in the first quarter of play.
Well, first of all, we talked about being aggressive. The Trailblazers wanted to be aggressive defensively, but you got to be careful not to run out of the defense. Terry Porter right here now makes his defense vulnerable with Buck Williams, Percy, and Duckworth having to cover up on Johnson's penetration. As you watch it right here, now the players are trapped. And what happens is Jeff Hornacek is outside wide open. People are left scrambling, and that's what happens when you gamble.
Phoenix on an 8-0 run, up 17-9. Gary Porter, Drexler, Duckworth with that pick on Kevin Johnson. There's the pick and roll, and Duckworth muscles in. He'll shoot 2. Kevin Duckworth at 7-1, and Rambis draws his second foul.
Well, you certainly know that coming out of that timeout, that was a set play. That was trying to get the Blazers back on track offensively and going into their strength, which is a 7-foot, almost 300-pound center. To get him in the paint is one of the best things you can do to get your team on track. Kevin Duckworth, always complaining about getting fouled inside, has to realize he's got to keep taking it to the basket because ultimately he'll get a call, just like this one.
Now, Dan Marley replaces Kurt Rambis. Now, this in Game 3, or Game 4, rather, on Sunday afternoon, turned out to be a fortuitous substitution. Rambis picked up his 4th foul in a very close game in Game 3. Marley came in and supplied both a defensive and offensive spark. Dan Marley in his second year, 6'6", out of Central Michigan. Kevin Johnson, Mark West, Marley, Chambers, and Jeff Hornacek for Phoenix. starting five still on the court for the Portland Trailblazers.
And Vern, this is very interesting right now. Portland running somewhat of a continuity offense there with Kevin Johnson in the game. Normally, they just like to have him create.
Now, they don't do many set plays. Here's Porter. Got it.
That may have been a sign of conservatism by Cotton. Phoenix is very effective playing both, but the best play Cotton says he has is Kevin Johnson creating with the ball and penetration.
Underneath the West again. And it's quickly taken by Drexler. Johnson will pick up the foul.
It's actually a good play by Kevin Johnson. He recognized that the numbers were in Portland's favor, and he stopped the ball way out front before they came down with a basket. Gives his team another opportunity on defense.
Now Buck Williams. Traveling call.
That particular foul pays off.
Delay of the game warning given against Portland. 2 turnovers now for the Trailblazers. 17-13, 5:50 to go. Quarter number 1. Game 1 here was a 2-point victory for the Trailblazers. Game 2 was a 1-point win. Here's Johnson running into Duckworth. Perfect pass. And West can't get it to fall. Duckworth on the pick and roll. Buck Williams.
Well, you certainly know if Duckworth is going to shoot a 15-footer, Buck Williams and Jerome Kersey know exactly where to go.
Delay of game violation, second one in as many possessions, and that'll result in a technical to be taken by Tom Chambers.
Well, what happened was on the first call, it was a warning that when the ball goes through the basket, Portland should not touch it, just leave it alone, allow the Suns to inbound it without interference. It happened again, and after the first warning, the next time it occurs and officials call it, becomes a technical foul.
Well, that ends a mini run put together by the Trailblazers, and it's 18-15 now. Hornacek, again, they go inside to Mark West. Hornacek drives the baseline and finds Marley, who takes a long jump shot and no good. What you say is the worst shot in basketball, a foot inside the three-point line.
Certainly, you have to know where you are on the floor. A couple of more inches won't make that much of a difference.
That's for 3. West is fouled. So we are tied at 18-all. Those offensive rebounds helping, and then the three-pointer by Terry Porter.
Suns did a nice job after being bombarded with that three-pointer to get the ball inbounds quickly. That's something that they did at home that was very successful for them. Many times they got 1-2 passes down the lane. Cotton's wondering if Terry Porter calls backboard on that shot.
Mark West in the playoffs has really elevated his game in their 9 wins. 14 points, 62%, and 12 rebounds. Unfortunately, he's not the world's greatest free throw shooter, and gets an air ball here to the absolute delight of this crowd. $18-all. Porter, back to Buck Williams. Kevin Johnson went for the double team, and there's another three-pointer.
The baskets are the same, the distances are the same, but there's something about being at home.
This is a 20-second timeout called by Cotton Fitzsimmons and the Phoenix Suns after Terry Porter's back-to-back triplets have given Portland a 3-point edge.
Well, what's been so successful for Portland is packing the ball, packing their defense into the lane. They've got 4 guys in the lane right now. That leaves someone wide open for a perimeter shot. This is more than a perimeter shot, and Terry Porter bangs it home. But in Phoenix, Portland was unable to connect on those, and that's why the Suns were so successful in shutting off that Blazer inside game.
A 12-1 run now in just 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Skip pass over to Kevin Johnson. Lays it off to Marley. And Johnson wants the isolation play against Jerome Kersey with the mismatch. Double team from Porter. Shot no good. Rebound Portland. Dan Marley for Phoenix. Chambers from Johnson. Air ball. Porter.
Good job by Terry Porter recognizing that there wasn't any broken floor, no lanes to set it up. His team is executing pretty well right now. They want to take advantage.
Jerome Kersey guarded by Dan Marley. Got 2 more. Offensive foul.
Buck Williams with a nice job of playing defense with his feet. First fundamental. Play defense with your feet and getting position. And even though Phoenix pushed the ball up, Buck had beaten Tom Chambers to the baseline.
Final 3:20 of the first quarter of play. Jerome Kersey with 6 points cross ball. There's Duckworth underneath. Jump hook, got it.
Now that time he got his rhythm, put the ball on the floor once, twice, made contact, and went away from the contact. Nice job by Duckworth.
Portland on a 16-1 run in the last 4 minutes, a 7-point lead now. One of those who is watching tonight from a hospital here in Portland is Ramon Ramos, a free agent first-year player out of Seton Hall, who was nearly tragically injured last December in an automobile accident. But a wonderful story. Ramon Ramos, given only a 50-50 chance to live, is now walking. And yesterday he made an appearance here. Here's more from Leslie Visser.
Vern, it was a particularly poignant moment for the players. They expected Ramon to come here in a wheelchair, and instead he walked into the locker room where he shook hands and hugged all the players. He went and sat down in front of the locker where his jersey still hangs. I spoke with his father, Ramon Ramos Sr., yesterday, and he told me there were plans to bring Ramon to the game tonight. Unfortunately, his doctor said he's not quite ready, but he will come if there's a Game 7. His father added that he thinks he's just about ready to leave the Samaritan Hospital and return home and stay with his parents. It was particularly pleasing to Mark Bryant, who, of course, played with Ramon at Seton Hall, and he said that the very first words that Ramon ever wrote some 3 weeks ago were, "Mark Bryant is my amigo." Vern?
A wonderful story. Thank you, Les. Back to play now. Kevin Johnson, Chambers, West, Hornacek, and Marley for Phoenix. And the starting 5 still on the court for the Portland Trail Blazers. It was Hornacek.
On that pick and roll, Tom Chambers broke wide open down the lane, and Jeff Hornacek missed him.
Kevin Johnson beats the shot clock, which had only 2 seconds remaining, and that is the first field goal in 4 minutes now for the Phoenix Suns.
And this is about the time when Kevin Johnson, more or less the soul, the leader of this team, has to step forward now and do some things.
Buck Williams. Hornacek guards him. Kevin Johnson and Porter, a battle of... Here's another three-pointer. That one doesn't go. Duckworth and Marley fight for the ball. Foul on Kevin Duckworth. Yet one more sellout crowd here at Memorial Coliseum in Portland, Oregon for Game 5 of the Western Conference Championship. The Western Conference Finals in the NBA. 25-20, Vern Lundquist, along with Len Elmore, Leslie Visser, and James Brown. Here's Hornacek. Got it for 2.
Right now, you look at Phoenix, even though they don't have the ball in KJ's hands, they're executing a little bit better. That timeout must have given them a bit of confidence.
Drexler goes by Hornacek. Nope. Duckworth, offensive rebound. Out of bounds. Phoenix ball.
And when I talk about confidence in the timeout, Phoenix has seemed a little bit tentative, but right now they're looking for the shots where they are, and they're attacking the boards the way they should.
There's another Portland rebound. Fine pass. Duckworth will shoot a couple. Mark West with a hard foul into the basket.
Another example of Portland's game plan to push the ball. They're at home. They have to take a few risks.
Substitution now. Andrew Lang will give Mark West a rest, and Danny Young comes on to give Terry Porter a chance to catch a breath. Kevin Duckworth. Duckworth broke his hand in a collision in the Dallas series, and for the most part missed almost all of the series against San Antonio. Duckworth and Wayne Cooper both out of that series until Duckworth did appear in Game 7, but he's still hampered a little bit shooting with that cast in his hand.
Certainly, and in all fairness to Kevin, you know, his timing is still off a bit, but he still has that body, and he can use it.
27-22. Danny Young now has the defensive assignment on Kevin Johnson. Marley, touch pass underneath to Andrew Lang, and lost the ball in mid-flight. Marley comes down with it. Kevin Johnson. Offensive foul.
Good look at throwing anybody into a little bit of a love-in down there, congratulating each other. The Suns continue to push, but Duckworth does a nice job. And when I talked about using your body, there are ways to use it on both ends of the floor. That time he laid it on the line and took that charge.
Buck Williams will get a rest, as will Kevin Duckworth. Cliff Robinson comes in, and Wayne Cooper. So 3 men off the bench now for Rick Adelman and the Trailblazers. Here's Drexler still looking for his shot. He's not had an effective series. Wayne Cooper for 2.
2 guys that they need badly, Danny Young and Wayne Cooper.
Johnson. Johnson's got 9. Danny Young, as a matter of fact, who has the ball now, 0 for 8 in Game 4. Here's Drexler. Kersey, another offensive rebound, but no score off the second chance. Drexler with a steal. And the basket.
Time for Phoenix to settle down and take one. That was an error on the guard's part. Everyone left Marley back there with 2 defenders surrounding him.
Penetration by Johnson. He got off the mark. Follow no good. Been a good period for this Portland Trail Blazer team that's back home. That's the end of the first period with our score, Portland 31, Phoenix 24. We'll be back after this message from your local station.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Basketball Association Western Conference Finals is sponsored by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? Rain Dance Car Wax, the longest lasting protection you can buy. And by Nike, who reminds you to just do it.
Trailblazers, who trailed by 8 at one point midway through quarter number 1, stormed back on a 16-1 run, up by 7 at 31-24 as we get set for the start of the second quarter. Vern Lundquist, Len Elmore, Leslie Visser, James Brown along at halftime. Here from Memorial Coliseum in Portland, Game 5 Western Conference Finals. Game 6, by the way, from Phoenix on Thursday night on CBS. Portland with 6 offensive rebounds now, none for Phoenix. Drazen Petrovic is checked back in, has the ball right now. First-year player out of Yugoslavia. Yeah, his hand stepped on in Game 4 and played only 3 minutes. Here's Cliff Robinson. Nope. Cooper tips it back out. Kevin Johnson controls for Phoenix. Marley.
That was the man who was the most important Phoenix Sun in the last game. And what happens now is that almost a battle of the benches. The Trailblazers are looking for some production from their bench, particularly on the offensive end.
Here's the feed to Marley from Kevin Johnson after the steal.
Certainly that's not going to make Rick Adelman very happy. The team that he has out there on the floor right now, they have to be more precise in their execution. They don't have any banging guys inside. Cliff Robinson and Wayne Cooper are pretty much finesse, and they need Danny Young to fill it up from the outside to open it up.
That's got to make Danny Young feel good. He was 0 for 8 in Game 4 from the field. Gets that basket for a 5-point Portland lead. Eddie Johnson has also come into the lineup now for Phoenix, so let's set those on the floor. Here's Eddie Johnson, last year's 6th man of the year in the NBA. Second chance, he's 0 for 2. Cliff Robinson comes down with the ball.
Eddie Johnson has become the scoring specialist, and that's what Cotton was from, but if he's not on, he's not going to be in there very long.
Kersey, no. Chambers for the Phoenix Suns. 5-point Portland edge. Kevin Johnson pulls up and takes the Clippers. And they got Jerome Kersey for a shove off underneath. Second foul on Kersey. And Clyde Drexler back in now for Portland, replacing Jerome Kersey. Let's check the Phoenix lineup. They've got Kevin Johnson, Dan Marley, Tim Perry is on the floor now, along with Eddie Johnson and Tom Chambers. And Drexler, the only starter for Phoenix. Here's the double team trap. Kevin Johnson back to Chambers. Petrovic with the foul. Time has been called. That'll be the first foul on Drazen Petrovic. Time called. Phoenix up, or Portland up by 5. NBA playoff action continues on Thursday night on CBS. Game 6 between these two teams from Phoenix. Portland and Phoenix, Game 6 on Thursday night at 9 o'clock. And then on Friday night, Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Final as Detroit goes back to Chicago at 9 o'clock Eastern. Right now, let's check in with Leslie Bisley.
Vern, during the timeout, Cotton Fitzsimmons made his players look up at the hustle boards, which are on either end of the court, and he noted that the rebounding margin is 18 to 12. He said, we have got to do a better job on the boards. Conversely, Rick Adelman said to his team, hey, we're doing the job on the boards. Let's keep it up. Vern.
Particularly, I would think, Lenny Elmore on the offensive board.
Well, certainly, that's their bread and butter. They aren't shooting very well in this particular series, and the way to maximize their opportunities is to get the second chance opportunity. Otherwise, they'd really be in a hole in this series.
Matter of fact, Cotton Fitzsimmons' team tied it up with those 2 wins in Phoenix, and the Portland Trailblazers in the 4 games played thus far, hitting only 43% from the field and 65% from the free throw line. They've had problems there as well, and Chambers a rare miss. 4-point edge, Portland up. And Kevin Johnson with a steal. And a foul on the inbounds play.
Pretty slick move by Danny Young. Even though he gave up the ball, he comes back in after they're trying to inbound it and gives it the greatest of Academy Award performances. Darryl Garrison makes the call that the foul is on Kevin Johnson. A little bit of savvy by the veteran Danny Young.
Danny Young, who started his NBA career in Seattle, came here as a free agent 2 years ago. Out of Wake Forest, Jeff Hornacek getting ready to reappear now for Kevin Johnson. Johnson goes to the bench with 11 points, having picked up his second foul.
And I don't believe that he's going to the bench because he's in any particular foul trouble. Cotton's going to allow him the freedom to play, but he wants him to get somewhat of the perspective of the game right now sitting there after that, and also not to get too upset.
Robinson, no. After the missed free throw, Chambers with a rebound. Hornacek, Perry, Eddie Johnson, Dan Marley, and Tom Chambers. Hornacek will move in and now play the point guard spot. And the rebound for Portland by Drexler.
And regardless of who's on the floor, the Blazers still want to push it up. That's the game plan. They're at home, and they're confident in their running game at home.
Pick and roll. Chambers waits for the ball, and Hornacek throws it away.
Well, here, Danny Young is pushing it up nicely. The Blazers have their runners out on the wing.
Back to live action. Foul is on Eddie Johnson. Non-shooting foul, so Petrovic will inbound the play. Mark West going to come back in now for Cotton Fitzsimmons, and he'll replace Tom Chambers. (36-31), 9 minutes to go. First half to play. Drazen Petrovic, who gets this crowd really going when he starts popping and beats Danny Young, who hits his second field goal.
Certainly, Danny Young, with the people out on the floor, he has to be a threat. He and Clyde Drexler.
Eddie Johnson gets a pick from Mark West. Back to Marley. The shot clock shows 7. Johnson from way outside. No. And West has it tipped away by Clyde Drexler. It'll be Phoenix ball.
Even though the shot clock is running down, what the Blazer defense did is force the Suns back. Normally the Suns want to attack the basket, but with each pass they went further and further back till Eddie Johnson took that 26-foot jump shot. That's a sign of a great defense, taking the push and holding them back.
There's the double team from Cliff Robinson. Jump ball. How many times have you seen that? And
good rotation.
So we'll pretend it's the start of the game. 38-31. Robinson into the hands of Eddie Johnson. Hornacek, originally a second-round draft choice, the oldest member in terms of years of experience in Phoenix with this team, gives it to Eddie Johnson, who gets the roll.
Certainly Eddie Johnson is a veteran out there, and in that offense, when it's not working, he takes it upon himself.
Drazen Petrovic, air ball to Clyde Drexler, who puts it back in.
Without Kevin Johnson right now, when the Suns come to a standstill, they really don't have anyone to create, and that's where Eddie Johnson comes in.
There's a foul on Wayne Cooper. Such traveled veteran who's now in the waning years of his career. Second tour of duty here in Portland. Signed as a free agent out of Denver.
But, you know, he's one of those guys, as we see Drazen Petrovic on the bench. Wayne Cooper is one of those guys who plays from the shoulders up. And guys like that are very valuable, even though, as we say, in the waning years of your career, you add something, plus you work with the younger players inside.
Eddie Johnson. Triple team. Hornacek. Robinson gets it.
This is about as active as I've seen the Blazers defense.
And it ignites more activity from the crowd.
Well, certainly, two of the things that Rick Adelman wanted was activity on the offensive boards, getting good position, movement. And you see Clyde Drexler there epitomizing that. Defensively, the activity, the double team, something that the Blazers hadn't done much throughout this series, has created great foot movement by the defenders, getting into the passing lane. And Cliff Robinson emphasizes how well that they're playing defensively.
Phoenix hitting only 44% now. Portland at 47. Kevin Johnson with 11. The offensive rebound, 8 for Portland and Phoenix for 2, so they have addressed that problem and taken care of it. But it also strikes me, Lenny, that this is a Portland team that in the 4 games prior to the night had averaged 9 steals per game. So they're getting some activity, and especially here at home.
Well, certainly they had to take some risks here, because I think they believe, as I do, if they don't win this, that they don't go to a Game 7. But the Phoenix Suns are a resilient bunch, and they do have Kevin Johnson, and you put the ball in his hands, and he can bring a deficit back to his advantage very quickly with his flashing style. He's back in the game right now.
Kevin Johnson back in. Chambers has it tapped out of bounds by Cliff Robinson, who went for the steal again. So let's check the lineup. Eddie Johnson, Tom Chambers, Mark West, Hornacek, and Kevin Johnson now. Johnson, Terry Porter. 4 seconds on the shot clock. If Hornacek turns around, gets it back to Chambers. Another rebound for the Portland Trail Blazers. Largest lead of the game, 9 right now. Danny Young, short with a shot. Jump ball.
You know, it's almost a mirror image, Vern, of the two teams. Down in Phoenix, the ball would go on the floor, and it was the Suns who would dive on the floor going after it. And it was the Blazers who'd bend over. Here at home in Portland, the Blazers are getting the floor burned, and the Suns are getting backaches from bending over trying to get it. That's hustle.
Porter. He's got 10, and we have a double-digit lead for the first time tonight. Kevin Johnson will shoot 2 free throws and he's fouled by Wayne Cooper.
And that's what I mean by no lead is safe, at least this early in the game, when you have a guy like Kevin Johnson, because the ball in his hands allows him to find all the openings. And when he gets through these openings into the paint, it puts such pressure on the back line of the defensive team, and the guys have such quick hands that he can hit anyone or draw the foul if he goes to the basket.
Buck Williams getting ready to check back in now, replacing Kevin Johnson, who along with Mark West was acquired from the Cleveland Cavaliers a year and a half ago in a trade that helped turn the Phoenix franchise around. Mike Sanders and Larry Nance going up to Cleveland. And Johnson gets 2 free throws. We're back to a 9-point edge. Danny Young, Cliff Robinson, Buck Williams, Terry Porter, and Clyde Drexler. The lineup on the floor for Rick Adelman.
What they were trying to do was get the ball into Drexler, but it was double team. Buck Williams' man, Mark West, was the double teamer, so Drexler dished it out to Williams, who made the shot.
Isolation. Johnson. Chambers. West with the put back. Short, no good. Chambers finally still won't go. Goaltending.
You got some live bodies in here, and you got to give the Suns credit for not giving up on this board, even though they missed several easy shots. That was a tough call.
At the other end, Buck Williams short. Danny Young saves it for the Trailblazers. Nice feed to Buck Williams. Drexler, no. It's catching, isn't it? It's like a fever. Or like beach volleyball. Danny Young will sit out. 5:17 to go before halftime. By the way, coming up at halftime, James Brown will be along with a feature on Buck Williams. Lenny and I had a chance to see it. You all will enjoy it. Here's another basket in close.
Look for that matchup to be important, particularly for the Trailblazers offensively. With Clyde Drexler with Jeff Hornacek on him, feels he can take him at any time.
Mark West, goaltending again. Kevin Duckworth getting ready to come back in. Buck Williams will. Nope, got there too late. Under 5 minutes, 48-39. Largest lead of the game has been 11 by Portland. Midway through quarter number 1, Phoenix was up by 8. Here's Drexler. He's still searching for that jump shot. West, the last man down, sets a pick. Skip pass to Eddie Johnson.
The Suns are starting to give themselves a little more breathing room. And defensively, watch for them to pack the ball, pack the defense back in, except for maybe Terry Porter, and force the Blazers to make it from outside. I was waiting for that because of Jerome Kersey, and I had a feeling.
9-point edge again, Eddie Johnson. Now Duckworth makes his reappearance on the court. And Kurt Rambis is going to check back in for the Phoenix Suns. Cliff Robinson sits down now for Portland, and Eddie Johnson goes to the line. Johnson, who is, as Lenny said, his role has changed this year. Bobby Fitzsimmons says he's not really the sixth man anymore. That's Dan Marley. And Eddie Johnson is our shooting specialist. He had 12 points in 12 minutes in Game 4.
Well, you know, as you get on in age in this league, a lot of things go, but if anything left Eddie Johnson, it certainly wasn't a shooting touch, and the Suns want to take advantage of it.
Time has been called with 4 minutes and 4 seconds remaining in the first half. The lead is 8.
Back inside of Memorial Coliseum, Game 5 of this Western Conference Final, and the Blazers are on top by 8. And hello again, everyone. I'm James Brown with a reminder that coming up in just a few moments on the Prudential at the half, we'll bring you up to date with all the latest developments in sports, including a managerial change in baseball. We'll also talk live with Detroit coach Chuck Daly as his Pistons get ready to host the Chicago Bulls in Game 5. And we'll also explain how Blazer Mania has been fueled by the efforts of the series work ethic of Buck Williams. That and more coming up in just a few moments on the Prudential at the half. Now let's swing you back over to Vern and to Len.
All right, JB, thank you. And just to underline what we said earlier, the Buck Williams feature is really something special. He's a wonderful guy. He said it would kill me if people thought of me as one-dimensional. Believe me, he's not.
Well, certainly, Buck, I had an opportunity to play with him. He's one of the more intelligent guys in this league, one of the more sensitive guys, except when he steps out here on the floor.
Personality change that's obvious. Still an 8-point edge. 3:55 to go before halftime. Kevin Duckworth. There's Jerome Kersey. Underneath they find Drexler. The basket will count and Drexler will shoot.
And it's certainly worth repeating. This is a matchup that they feel they can get at any time, provided people don't crowd it up. And even with Mark West coming over to help, Clyde Drexler establishes position nicely. Jeff Hornacek doesn't have the size to play behind him, and certainly if he plays in front of him, Clyde Drexler is able to go after the lob passes.
Well, Rick Adelman told us yesterday that he felt himself responsible for not designing plays that took advantage of Drexler on Hornacek. And that time they did. Here's Chambers. Loose ball. And look at the Portland Trail Blazers dive for it.
Look at the hustle, too.
Yep.
Again, everybody's after it.
Buck Williams and Kurt Rambis finally wind up with it, and they will jump. We are at Memorial Coliseum in Portland, Oregon. Another sellout crowd of better than 12,000. Last time they didn't sell out was 1977, the last time they won the NBA championship. The Trail Blazers lead by 10. They trailed by 8 midway through the first quarter, used a 16-1 run to hold a 7-point edge at the end of the first quarter play. They have led by as many as 11. Back it comes to Kevin Johnson. Chambers takes the shot. Tom Chambers is now 2 of 11. He was 11 of 13 in Game 3 down at Phoenix. Boy, when he's not going well, problems for Phoenix.
It's just amazing. It's almost night and day from Phoenix to here. The Blazers are getting most of their shots in the paint right now, and they couldn't buy one down in Phoenix. On the other hand, the Suns, their offense seems to be clogged. They can't run. And they're certainly not getting on the offensive board.
Lenny, you talk about adjustments from game to game. Have you seen anything that Rick Adelman has done differently in this game?
Well, certainly with a pick-and-roll situation, the Blazers are now double-teaming, something they only did once or twice before. And if they miss the double team or they don't get close enough together, Kevin Johnson will split the defense just as he did there.
And he's going to do more of that. Back to a 10-point edge, and here's Drexler again.
But you notice Drexler drives to the basket. Before that, he was right under the basket for a pass. Kersey drives to the basket. That was non-existent last time. They are attacking, as we said, much like the Suns did in Phoenix. It's almost a mirror type of situation.
Dan Marley getting set to come back in. Clyde Drexler, University of Houston. Fortuitous bounce. Marley comes back in. So it'll be Marley, Kevin Johnson, Mark West, Rambis, and Chambers.
Well, look for the Suns offensively to put the ball in Kevin Johnson's hand, and they've got 4 big bodies out there to pound the offensive boards. If they're not going to make their shots, you can expect Marley, Rambis, West, and Chambers to start scraping some glass.
Gary Porter, who did such a terrific defensive job on Kevin Johnson last week here in games 1 and 2. And a foul called.
Rambis was setting a pick along the baseline, and I don't believe official Joe Crawford really liked the way that Jerome Kersey tried to get over that pick. You take a look here.
Cliff Robinson comes back in for Jerome Kersey. Third personal on Kersey, who's been a real spark plug. The young man out of Longwood College in Virginia. Probably the best player for Portland in the 2 games down in Phoenix last weekend. Here's Rambis at the free throw line. Phoenix Suns, a team that was in total disarray just 2 years ago with 29 victories, 55 victories last year, and into the Western Conference Finals where they were swept by the Lakers. Now this year, knocked out Los Angeles in 5 games. Cotton Fitzsimmons was worried about the fan reaction of Phoenix. He said they wanted to beat the Lakers so badly, they thought it was maybe enough that we did that. There's a little more to this. Here's Williams. Rambis. Johnson with Drexler back. Lays it off to Chambers. And what a foul by Clyde Drexler. Nice play.
I think Clyde probably would have broken the Olympic triple jump here with his protest. But he gets back nicely. You see him, the last line of defense, and he got his hand on all ball.
Hey, he has reason to complain, I think.
Somehow or another, I think these Portland fans saw the same replay. There again.
Chambers goes to the line to shoot 2. Well, he's 5 of 6 from the free throw line, but struggling horribly from the field with 2 of 11.
But throughout this series, people recognize that you cannot stop Tom Chambers and Kevin Johnson very long. But what you can do is keep them off the free throw line, make some of the other guys work. And when they do that, a lot of teams have been successful against them.
Final 2 minutes of the first half. Drexler, well, it's starting to come together for him now. Clyde averaged 27 points against Phoenix over the regular season, but only 17 in this playoff series. He has really been fighting it. Basket counts for Mark West.
And take a look at Kevin Johnson, the emotional leader of this team, really tried to give Mark West a boost. Not only did Kevin Johnson take the double team that time, but he threw a perfect lob pass over the outstretched fingertips to the defender. At 6'1", 6'2", I don't know how he could see over that.
Mark West, who is, as you have seen, not the most accomplished free throw shooter, gets this one. Why are you laughing at me?
No, it wasn't you. I got so excited on that particular play.
Oh, the free throw.
No. On Kevin Johnson's pass.
Okay.
I love it when the big men get the passes from the little guys right under the basket.
And hold on to him.
Those are the kind you take them out to dinner for.
Phoenix ball and the anger of the crowd.
Well, you take a look, Kevin Johnson again, the penetration. Splits the defenders, but kind of lost his footing on the slip. And Duck was a little too late getting there.
Hornacek has come back in. Put the pick on Gary Porter. 1:15 to go before halftime. Marley. Drexler on Johnson. Here's Hornacek.
And I just can't stop talking about the guy. As much pressure as he puts on a defense when the ball's in his hands. And he finds everyone.
At the other end, Buck Williams, the offensive putback by Clyde Drexler.
The saving grace of the Trailblazers. They're shooting the gaps right now, seeing the opening, and the guards, like Clyde Drexler, are crashing.
There's a putback at the other end, Tom Chambers. And now with 42 seconds, Portland hustles down. There's Duckworth underneath, and he and Mark Lester having a wrestling match.
And this is just amazing. Clyde Drexler can't even hold him and keep him out. He gets into the paint again, drawing the defense, everyone towards him, and still finds the spot-up man, Jeff Hornacek. And as I said before, no lead is safe when this guy has his hands on the ball and it has the creative freedom, the license to do what he does best.
Well, he has become a force in the league, but somewhat of a surprise out of California. Here's Duckworth with a free throw. Cotton Fitzsimmons said he saw Kevin Johnson play at California. That's when he first became aware of his talents, and then he was drafted, Johnson was, by Cleveland. Well, Cotton's son, Gary Fitzsimmons, is director of player personnel for the Cavaliers. And Gary Fitzsimmons knew they had something, but Mark Price is not a bad player up there either. There's the tip out. Phoenix ball.
Well, the Blazers are running out of gas just a little bit, and they have done so maybe over the last minute and a half, but they still found a way to get to the offensive boards. Defensively, though, this is where they're getting hurt, and they got to find a way to shut off the penetration. You know exactly where Kevin Johnson's going.
Marley. Blocked.
Frankly, by Buck Williams. Frankly, that surprised me, though. Johnson gives the ball up in the last shot opportunity pretty early. Buck Williams from the strong side, as he comes down the middle, Marley does, he gets his hand on the ball.
That shot up and another foul.
Pick and roll once again. Johnson comes out far enough and forces Duckworth to have to play him.
Second foul on Kevin Duckworth. Kevin Johnson back at the line. Johnson, who inexplicably missed 4 free throws in game 4. He was only 2 of 6 from the line. Now Tim Perry. And Mike McGee is going to make a rare appearance now for Phoenix just prior to halftime. Johnson with 16 points and a 22nd timeout called by Rick Adelman.
Well, the reason Mike McGee is in and Tim Perry, they're trying to match up in a situation where the Blazers have 4 guards and Buck Williams out there. They're looking offensively possibly to spread the floor, look for a 3, look for a drive in an isolation, draw the 3-point play, and most importantly have Buck Williams hit the offensive boards. He could probably overpower any forward that the Suns have there.
This is game 5, of course, coming up Thursday night on CBS. Game 6 from Phoenix. Portland goes down to Phoenix again for game 6 in the Western Conference Final. And on Friday night, the Eastern Conference Final. Lenny and I will be in Chicago for Detroit and Chicago Friday night at 9 o'clock. That series, of course, also tied at 2 apiece after that terrific defensive display and Michael Jordan's heroics in the fourth quarter yesterday. Now here Kevin Johnson back at the line with 6.4 seconds remaining in the first half of play. Marley with the takeaway. Back to Perry. Here's Kevin Johnson. Shot doesn't go. That's the end of the first half with our score. 64-57. In favor of Portland, James Brown will be along with the potential at the half after this message.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Basketball Association Western Conference Finals is sponsored by 7-Up and your local 7-Up bottler. 7-Up, the cool spot. BF Goodrich TA Tires, the athletic shoes for your car. And by AT&T, the right choice.
Halftime in Portland with the Blazers up 64-57, enjoying a 7-point halftime edge right now. Vern Lundquist along with Len Elmore. Just a moment ago, Leslie Visser had a chance to talk with Phoenix Suns head coach Cotton Fitzsimmons.
Cotton, you had an 8-point lead. Where did it slip away?
Well, they hurt us real bad. They had like a 16-1 run. They hurt us bad with their strengths. They hurt us on the boards, and then they would run out on us if we turned the ball over. We have to play much better on the boards and defensively in the second half. We're going to win this ball game.
You tried a couple people on Clyde Drexler. Might you make a defensive adjustment?
Well, I don't know about that. I just think Hornacek and Marty will have to play him. Clyde is due for a good ball game. He's an all-star.
Thank you, Coach.
Clyde Drexler was 2 of 7 from the field in the first quarter, but then got it going in quarter number 2. The veteran out of Houston, 6 of 8. He leads all scorers with 18 points in the ball game.
Well, certainly you talk about field goal percentages, and you look at throughout this series, the Blazers have had trouble finding the hoop, shooting 42%. The Suns blistering it so much with 50%. This game, they're just the opposite. The Suns are shooting 42% from the field, and the Blazers shooting 50%, and it's just a simple difference in being on the other guy's court.
Portland Trail Blazers yet to be beaten at home in the 1990 playoffs. They are 8-0. They had to win 4 games here against San Antonio. They won 2 games here against Dallas, and they have won the 2 previous games against the Phoenix Suns. Now it's Kersey, Porter, Duckworth, Buck Williams, and Clyde Drexler, and Hornacek will draw the defensive assignment on Drexler. Swim right off the bat.
Well, that move just about froze Jeff Hornacek. It was so quick going to the middle. And what happened in a situation like that is Clyde Drexler, you don't want him to get into the paint because he can jump over you or he can slide around you. He's that talented. But he's the guy that the Blazers have really wished for to come off of his scheme and missing shots and not having an outside game working. And now that it is working just a bit, it's opened up a whole new world as far as his offense is concerned. You got to come out and play him now.
Drexler gets 1 of 2. He's got 19, and the lead is 8. The largest lead of the game was 11 points. This is a Phoenix team that has not won here in 6 years, 1 month, and 3 days. April 26th of 1984. Obviously, none of the players in the Suns were a part of that team. Kick it back to Kevin Johnson. Chambers. He's now 3 of 13 from the field. And prior to tonight, here's Porter. No. Over the back, it'll be Phoenix ball. Prior to tonight, Chambers had been hitting 56% from the field in the first 4 games.
Well, what's happened is Buck Williams has taken away the drive. Buck Williams and company have taken away the drive from Tom Chambers. And so Tom is forced to get his offense from outside. If he doesn't hit a few, he loses his confidence just a bit.
There's the pick and spot up, and Chambers is now 3 of 14.
So going to the basket and getting the easy shots, getting on the offensive boards, that pads your field goal percentage. So when you take the jump shot from outside, there's not as much anxiety in having to make it. You shoot more relaxed. But Tom Chambers now is not shooting in a relaxed fashion. It's just not the Tom Chambers we're accustomed to seeing.
Johnson, Drexler. Penetrate, pushes back to Rambis.
And that's not the Kurt Rambis we're accustomed to seeing either. But he's given them a big lift offensively throughout this series at crucial times in the game.
Another turnover. That's 7 on Portland. Nice pass from Johnson, and Chambers takes it strong to the basket.
And that's what I mean. That'll go a long way in building his confidence in shooting that outside shot. And if he becomes effective from outside, look out, because he'll put it on the floor and blow by you.
Lead has been cut to 4. Kersey. Chambers in his face. The shot short. Rambis with a rebound. A chance to cut it back to 2, possibly 1. Hornacek will set it up in the half-court offense. There's the mismatch now. Chambers guarded by Drexler. And it's a 2-point ball game.
That time he had his rhythm together and did not just took his time. He didn't rush.
22nd timeout called by Rick Adelman. And Chambers, who is one of the best finishers in basketball, got that layup, and now Cotton Fitzsimmons is going to work.
Well, you know, he's in that huddle probably saying, hey, we took their best shot. We took their best shot. We can come back now. Look at the score. Look at the score. Keep doing what you can do. I mean, I heard that many times when we played the Kansas City Kings. And that's what he is. He's a confidence builder. And that's the man whose confidence is starting to rise just a bit. Tom Chambers. He's gotten the ball where he needed it the last 2 times down.
Chambers with 16 points to 7 for Buck Williams, 7 rebounds. They don't expect Buck Williams to score as many points as Tom Chambers, of course. There's Buck against Kurt Rambis. Rebound, Mark West, and a chance to tie it 3-on-1. And the pass by Hornacek.
I mean, I had to react to that, a 3-on-1 situation. And Jeff Hornacek is a much better player than that.
Drexler, Duckworth, jump hook, no. Putback, no. Rebound, Phoenix. They're doing a much better job in this half early on the defensive board. Kevin Johnson to tie, yes.
And he made that jump shot with Terry Porter having his full hand, the palm of his hand in his face, made Kevin jerk his head back, but he still buried it.
8-1 run now for Phoenix to open the second half. Duckworth.
I'm not saying anything because he made it.
He loves that shot. You know that, Len. 1 of 6 for Portland from the field in this half.
But he comes on the other end, and he kind of throws Kurt Rambis aside as he comes back. Here he's trying to get physical. Rambis kind of initiates it, and he gets caught in a sandwich of Duckworth and Chambers.
That's the 3rd foul on Kevin Duckworth. Underneath, good job by Rambis, and then he throws it away. Had position. At the other end, Duckworth. West. Chambers rebound. That's 7 rebounds for Tom Chambers. 8 rather. A chance for the lead. Mark West. And the Phoenix Suns, I beg your pardon, it's tied up, not enough to lead. Duckworth at the other end a moment ago.
Trailblazers now not making their shots, particularly inside the paint, whereas in the first half they were, and they can't get to the boards because Phoenix did a nice job.
Buck Williams with 9 points in the ball game. Under 8 minutes now. In this period, Phoenix 5 of 8.
And you saw that 2 for 8 for Portland. Most of those shots are inside, and they still missed them.
Hornacek, the screen from Rambis. Shot. Wide right. Rambis chases it down, throws it right to Porter. Drexler. Buck Williams saves it and puts it in.
Great hands by Buck Williams that time. The ball seemed to have come out of a crowd and caught him at the last moment, but still had presence of mind to knock it down and gain control.
Kevin Johnson with the penetration and the dish. And there's another assist for Kevin Johnson, who had 17 in Game 4.
And another reason why you just can't sit back and celebrate after you score, because he's coming right up your back.
Drexler in the groove. The lead is 4. The time, 6:59. 3rd quarter. Pick and roll. Chambers this time goes all the way to the basket. Rambis loses the rebound to Jerome Kersey.
Phoenix, a nice job of getting back into the paint.
Oh, the pace of this thing has really gotten upbeat. Watch the penetration of Kevin Johnson.
Well, on the pick and roll, Buck Williams is supposed to show a little bit and slow him down. But who slows down Kevin Johnson?
Portland stormed out, Phoenix at the start of the 3rd period, an 8-1 run, tied the score up at 7-67 all. Thus far in the ball game, Phoenix 44%, Portland 48. Kevin Johnson with 19 points. Drexler has led Portland. Tom Chambers having a tough field goal shooting night, but he does have 16 points, and it's a 4-point edge right now. Phoenix, a nice job at the halftime break.
Certainly, when they came out here, and they came out very early to shoot, what they've done now is they've gone back to their basics, clogging up the middle, and Portland's had a hard time and a lot of missed opportunities inside. But more importantly, Phoenix is coming off the board with the ball and kicking it up. They're not waiting and watching Portland set up. They're trying to run up their backs, as I mentioned before, beating them down court.
Chambers with 8 rebounds to accompany his 16 points. And an update as Kevin Duckworth shoots the free throw from Leslie Visser.
Vern, during the last timeout, Cotton Fitzsimmons told his team that he's pleased that they've been able to make a couple of defensive plays, which of course have allowed them to run. On the other end, Rick Adelman wants his team to look for the pick and roll with Porter and Williams. Vern?
1 of 2 for Kevin Duckworth. We'll look for it as well. Kevin Johnson, Dan Marley, Kurt Rambis, Mark West, who's had a big game tonight, and Tom Chambers for Phoenix.
Good job by Porter in not letting Johnson turn the corner. That's when he hurts you. But he also moves without the ball.
7 on the shot clock. Kevin Johnson nails it to the baseline.
He didn't just stand there after he was beaten to the baseline and gave it up. He continued to move, and that's how he freed himself. The guy's an excellent all-around player, not one-dimensional.
Double team now as Rambis goes down to help West on Duckworth. They find Drexler. He's got 23.
And what a time for his jump shot to come back from vacation.
Chambers. His hazard. Porter for 3.
Portland executed well that time. It was the pick and roll. Jerome Kersey setting it.
That's 3 3-pointers in the ball game for Terry Porter. Now he draws a beat on Kevin Johnson, who kicks it back to Dan Marley. Buck Williams with the rebound. Kersey.
Pushing it up. Going back to their game plan, the Trailblazers are getting people to run again. It began with the outlet pass to Drexler. 2 passes and a dunk. You can't ask for more than that. Again, you take a look at the floor, beating all the Blazers back except for Marley. The important thing is how spread Jerome Kersey was, so that Dan Marley didn't even realize he was back there. He would have dropped back deeper, I'm sure, had he known Kersey was running.
Saw the man who was clapping right there. That's Peter Jacobson, a Portland resident and one of the fixtures on the Professional Golf Association Tour. Peter's having a better year than I thought if he's got that kind of a front row seat. After the 22nd timeout, the lead at 10, 5:10 to go. Double team, Drexler. Back to Johnson, pump fake. Rambis, quick ball rotation to Eddie Johnson, who's come off the bench. And that quiets the crowd.
Well, good patience by the Suns right now. They know that that's what it's going to require. They can't go helter-skelter. They just don't have the team makeup, except for Kevin Johnson, to do that.
Porter, Drexler, Kersey, Wayne Cooper, and Buck Williams. Jerome Kersey. He's got 12, 14. Johnson hurries down, tries to penetrate the pick and roll. Left side, Marley. Kersey drops down to help on West. They're going to give Marley the jump shot if he wants it. Offensive foul.
When we talked to Rick Adelman yesterday, we asked him if his team had an answer for Dan Marley, because Marley had killed him in Game 4. He said to pay attention to him early, not let him get easy baskets, which the Blazers haven't, and then he begins to play conservatively. Dan Marley right now isn't a factor.
Jeff Hornacek took Marley's place. Wayne Cooper. move by Terry Porter. And a good defensive job by Eddie Johnson. 2-on Webb. Hornacek. And there's a playoff foul taken by Clyde Drexler.
And Vern, we've covered a number of games here between these two teams. That's the first one that I've seen where a defender kept someone from getting it. This is the play before Terry Porter with his nice penetration. But this is what we're talking about. In this particular series, we haven't seen one of those, keeping the guy from getting the ball to the basket. That shows that the fire is turned up and the intensity is increasing.
Hornacek gets the first. Jeff wants a walk-on at Iowa State. Honors graduate in accounting from Iowa State. His dad, a well-known high school coach up in the Chicago area. 83-75. 3:52 to go in quarter number 3.
It's not to say these teams have been playing each other with kid gloves, but nevertheless, they still haven't done that.
Hornacek with a steal.
Might happen again.
Johnson. Lead at 6. 9 to 8 turnovers. Neither team has been turning it over all that much. That's off the hand of, well, say that and bingo.
Certainly a breakdown offensively. The Blazers can't afford that because they don't have anyone that can really penetrate and create a lot of things for them.
Williams saves it, brings it out. Jerome Kersey. Rambis. That battle won by Kersey, and he does the finger roll for 2. And the steal. But Phoenix does get it. Eddie Johnson. Put back by Hornacek, too strong. Portland in transition.
This is a good time to settle the team down.
Instead, Porter dishes inside and loses it. Good point, Len. At the other end, boy, the pace has gotten frenetic. And the foul will belong to the Trailblazers.
Well, the pace certainly favors the Suns. This is Phoenix Suns basketball and pushing it up. The Blazers can't play this way.
Time has been called. Phoenix will shoot free throws. Oh, I see. 85-77 Portland. Been a tough year for the Trailblazers in many respects. Terry Porter, the outstanding point guard, lost his mother Louise. She died back in April. And Terry talked about her loss.
My mom passed away April 6th, you know, and ever since then I've dedicated the rest of my season to her. And I just, I put the LP on there just a reminder to me, and just every now and then I look down to it and just smile a little bit during the stretch of the game. But it's definitely tough to lose someone so close to your family.
That LP he was talking about stands for Louise Porter, his mother, who passed away on April 6th. It has been a very difficult year now for this Portland team. Mark Bryant, for example, back in February. Mark, a young man out of Seton Hall, lost both his mother and godmother in a car accident. Here's Jeff Hornacek for the Phoenix Suns. And the quick hands on the floor. Buck Williams. Kevin Johnson. Reverse layup. Rambis with the putback.
Well, that time, out of some desperation, the Suns wound up with an opportunity. But the Portland Trailblazers are not backing down defensively. They continue to attack and double team.
Jerome Kersey, hand checked by Eddie Johnson. Kersey with a double-double now. He's got 18 points and 10 rebounds. He has been a real spark for the Trailblazers in this series.
Without a doubt, the most consistent player, and he's given them a lift defensively as well.
Hornacek at the other end. And the lead is 6 with 1:38 to go in the ballgame.
Look for the Blazers to try to exploit the EJ matchup.
In the third quarter, I think I said ball game. 87-81. Chambers on the line. Kevin Johnson will get a rest. Dan Marley comes back in. That means Hornacek goes to the point guard spot.
Portland looking for a little more ball movement. They may be going to a passing game situation, twirling their fingers in the air. At least something with continuity rather than have his guys stand around. Rick Adelman wants them moving.
Long rebound. Buck Williams back to Terry Porter.
Buck got away with a push right there. Both hands in the back of his son.
The pick from Wayne Cooper. Porter. Oh, beautiful play. What a gorgeous play. Terry Porter and Wayne Cooper. Tom Chambers will shoot a couple.
Well, you talk about the pick and roll on the last play. Terry Porter didn't even get into the paint. But what the Suns are doing is that they're ignoring Wayne Cooper and even Kevin Duckworth when they're outside of the free throw line. And that time they left the lane right down the middle and allowed Terry Porter to find him.
Danny Young comes back in now, replacing Terry Porter. Cliff Robinson also in for the Trailblazers, replacing Buck Williams.
45.9 seconds left. It's a good time to give his starters a rest here. Rick Adelman trying to juggle them, knowing he's got to keep them fresh for the fourth.
At the conclusion of our game, Lenny Elmore and I will select the Miller Lite Player of the Game. In conjunction with that award, Light Beer will present a check in the amount of $1,000 in the player's name to the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. Chambers now 7 of 8 from the free throw line.
Maybe just as they did at the end of the half, they threw a little full-court pressure on the Blazers. Well, they back up now, but it fooled them at the end of the half. Maybe there's another trick up the Suns' sleeve defensively.
Portland led by 7 at the end of 1, 7 at the half. They're up by 6 right now. Robinson's tip is good. Nice job by Hornacek.
Number 34, Jim Terry.
Foul is called on Tim Terry of Phoenix. And Terry Porter comes back in now for the Portland Trailblazers.
Opportunity to utilize some people inside. You got Tim Perry, second-year player, on Jerome Kersey. Clyde Drexler's going to try to take it on his own.
Eddie Johnson clears it for Phoenix. Foul. A foul called on that 50-foot shot. And this period is going to end with Phoenix shooting free throws.
And more importantly, it's Jerome Kersey's 4th foul.
Eddie Johnson misses. Johnson, a 92% free throw shooter over the course of the year. 1 of 2. That's the end of the third period with our score, Portland 91, Phoenix 84. We'll return to Portland after this message and word from your local station. Back at Memorial Coliseum in downtown Portland, Oregon, as Portland jumped out to a 7-point edge at the end of the first quarter. They did so by using a 16-1 run, coming from 8 down to 7 up, and they have held that lead throughout. They led by 7 at the half, 7 at the end of 3. It's now 91-84, and Portland trying to go up 3 games to 2. Rick Adelman rewarded with a 3-year contract. Back in February, he had been hired on a 1-year pact after replacing Mike Schuler late in last season. Kevin Johnson, Tom Chambers, Dan Morley, Eddie Johnson, and Jeff Hornacek for the Phoenix Suns. Drazen Petrovic has come back on now for Portland. He's number 44. Eddie Johnson with Cooper in the block, and Chambers puts it off the glass and in. It's Cliff Robinson, Clyde Drexler, Danny Young, Wayne Cooper, and Drazen Petrovic. So, against, for the most part, the starters at Phoenix. Rick Adelman's going to get some of his starters a rest here, including Jerome Kersey with 4 fouls. Foul on Eddie Johnson.
Now we're seeing a little tit for tat here in keeping guys from getting easy baskets and the hard fouls. But in a loose ball situation, no one really got down there on the floor and went after it. Those are the types of things that coaches get miffed at, considering what's at stake.
Robinson with 6 points, 5 rebounds, available in the second round in the draft last summer out of the University of Connecticut. And has made a sizable contribution to this team this year.
Well, particularly in the San Antonio series, game 1, he did an excellent defensive job on David Robinson, kind of threw David Robinson a curve, and Kevin Duckworth wasn't available, and neither was Wayne Cooper.
Misses on both free throws. Lead is 5 in game 5. Johnson. Buck Williams goes down to double. Good ball rotation over to Hornacek for 2. Boy, they moved the ball well that time.
And they certainly are catching the Blazers, who are double teaming in their defensive rotation. They're catching them a step too slow. And with these Phoenix shooters, you can't do that.
Well, you can't fault Dan Marley that time. Great defense, and Drexler just has the hot hand.
And certainly you're seeing a different Clyde Drexler than did you see in the Valley of the Sun down in Phoenix.
Good job defensively by Drexler. Hornacek. 2 more.
And again, you see Buck Williams on Hornacek when he shoots the jumper. That's not how it starts, but it's the rotation.
Underneath, Marley.
Dan Marley is the defensive stopper for the Suns, and for the most part, he does an excellent job. Great position by Marley, hands up just as he should. So what can you do?
Last foul was on Tom Chambers, his second. 93-90, 10-20 to go. Too strong, Chambers with a rebound. That's 10 rebounds for Tom Chambers. Kevin Johnson. Portland ball, Danny Young, Petrovic on his right wing. And Drazen Petrovic goes up and is fouled by Jeff Hornacek.
When Drazen Petrovic went to the basket, you could see him anticipate the contact. He got himself braced for it.
That's 4 fouls on Hornacek. We are in Portland, Oregon, Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals in the NBA. Game 6, Thursday night in Phoenix on CBS. Hornacek with his 4th foul. Phoenix had an 8-point lead at 15-7 midway through the first quarter. Petrovic misses that free throw. And it was then that Portland went on a 16-1 run to take a lead they have never lost, led by 7 at halftime. Phoenix came back to tie it up. Look at this unusual view. 1 of 2. They tied it up at 67 all, but then the Blazers went out by 10 again. Right now they lead by 4.
Blazers still double teaming Kevin Johnson, forcing him to give up the ball, hoping that they come up with the rebound.
Loose ball chased down by Drazen Petrovic. Cliff Robinson.
Defensively, things going the Blazers' way at this point. Double teaming Kevin Johnson, making him give up the ball, keeping him from getting it back, forcing someone else to beat him.
Hornacek, and the basket will count. The foul is on Petrovic, and Hornacek's going to get a chance for a 3-point play. Time has been called. That's great. Game summary thus far. Rebounds, Portland with a 6 rebounding edge. They were up by 12 midway through the first half of play. Inside points, Portland has the edge by 9 there. Bench points, not much of a difference. And Clyde Drexler has been a big story offensively. It's 96-92 with 9.5 remaining. Game 5. Phoenix trying to break through here. Hornacek with 4 fouls, and Kersey has 4. And how about this play by Jeff Hornacek a moment ago?
Well, the Suns have certainly come out and dug in. And you see Kevin Johnson's presence. Petrovic was so far over in the lane towards Kevin Johnson trying to help out that he wasn't able to get back to the cutting Hornacek. He was his man. Nice spread of the floor by the Suns. And that's what they're going to wind up doing to try to negate the double team of the Trailblazers.
Hornacek will go to the line with a chance for the three-point play. He is 2 of 2 from the free throw line tonight. 9:30 remaining in the game.
And you look at the Phoenix Suns, and they are just a team that seems to be able to do what it takes to get the job done. They've got some of their guys like Tom Chambers not playing very well, but they still are remaining very competitive.
Duckworth over West. 98-93. Now Kevin Johnson, Danny Young will guard him now as Porter is down on Marley. Now the switch, Porter goes to Hornacek. Kevin Johnson goes right by Danny Young and lays off to Mark West.
Well, again, coming off the double team, Kevin Duckworth just lost all awareness of Mark West trying to help out on Kevin Johnson, and he scored.
Dan Marley with the foul. That's his second.
Team foul, number 4.
Buck Williams. Nice pump fake over Chambers. Shot just a little too strong. Here comes Hornacek for Phoenix. Back to Kevin Johnson. See if he uses the crossover dribble now. Not this time.
And you notice that Danny Young at one point was on Kevin Johnson. They switched him, but he's got to play Marley.
There's the penetration and the basket and a chance for three. Just so explosive. Can you put him in a category at all?
Yeah. Of eels and otters and all the other slippery little creatures. But you notice the guy gets the step, and then he's uncanny in drawing contact, bouncing off walls, brick walls like a Terry Porter, and still having the presence of mind to see the basket and lay it up. That's what makes him so great, his ability to finish shots after taking the contact.
Tied again. Last tie was at 67 all. Porter. Duckworth for Portland. Foul is on Mark West. That's his fourth. 15 foul. Kevin Duckworth will shoot a couple.
And certainly Rick Alleman now wants his team, and calling a couple of plays in the last two possessions, wants his team to start going back to basics. That's getting the ball inside. Buck Williams had an opportunity to ball rim the basket. The next time down, they go to Kevin Duckworth. So they want to reestablish it inside, draw a foul, or score, or get the three-point play.
Kevin Duckworth out of Eastern Illinois in his fourth year, originally drafted by San Antonio. Acquired in the trade to send Walter Perry down there. And he gives Portland a one-point edge. Phoenix has not led since they were up 15-14 back in the first quarter. Nice pass to Marley. And Phoenix has reclaimed the lead.
The Suns are doing a nice job of picking underneath the basket. Blazers are going to have to communicate if they're going to keep from allowing guys like Marley to be wide open.
Danny Young looks for Duckworth. Starts left, goes right, kicks it back to Danny Young, then uses the pick and loses the ball. Here's Johnson at the other end. Porter hurries back. .102.99. Timeout. Portland. So the Phoenix Suns have stormed from behind. They have a three-point edge with 7:25 to go.
Back here in Portland, where the Phoenix Suns have just taken a 102.99 lead in the huddle just now, Rick Alleman told his team, we're giving them too many layups. On the other end, Cotton Fitzsimmons was emotional. He said, keep working, and Paul Westphal, the assistant coach, said, hey, it's our court now. Vern?
I don't know if it's quite that explicit. It's their court, but they certainly have played well. And just to reiterate a point made at the top of the program tonight, this is Portland's 12th game in the last 24 days. Just because of the schedule and the length of their series, Terry Porter gets that shot.
Well, that'll be something to revive his team. But in giving up too many layups, that's the first sign of fatigue on defense. And usually you don't move as quickly enough. And it shows with the layups and the short jump shot.
Kevin Johnson with the crossover dribble and the jump shot, and Phoenix is now 10 of 11 in this quarter, and they've outscored the Blazers by 10 in the last 4:45.
Most of those have been layups. The Blazers have to duplicate that, at least get to the free throw line.
Percy, too strong. Hornacek fights for the rebound. At the other end, Marley blocked by Drexler.
Great hustle play by Clyde Drexler. To go from end line to end line, you'll see him flying out of the left side of your screen. Terry Porter was looking for the foul call.
Ball inbounded back to Hornacek. 6.5 remaining in the ball game. A 3-point Phoenix lead. Kicked back by Johnson to Hornacek. They find Marley in the wing. 2 more.
Well, right now, you talk about poise. The Suns have this feeling, it seems, that they can't be stopped as long as they move the ball to the open guy. And that's what they've done. Great confidence in each other.
Well, Lenny and I saw game 3. Here's Drexler for 3. A whistle. Count the basket. That's a 3-point basket. And a foul underneath on Mark West called by Daryl Garrettson.
Well, there's a little bit of dancing going on inside. West and Duckworth couldn't decide who was going to lead.
5 fouls on West. And Duckworth goes to the line. Rambis comes in and Mark West will lead. 1 shot is all Duckworth will get. This may be the rarest kind of 4-point play. Yep.
Well, certainly Duckworth's presence in that lane as he set up a position under the basket forced West to do something to get him off the mark.
Johnson back to Marley. Now they go to Hornacek. Left-handed shot. Nice touch.
Well, Kevin Johnson now, it's just his mere presence that's causing problems for the Blazers.
Porter calls for the ball. This could be his 4th lead. The putback by Buck Williams.
And Porter's making Phoenix pay in their defense, sagging in the middle. Somebody's going to come out and have to play him.
Johnson, as Kersey comes over to double team, they kick it back to Chambers. Dan Marley on Terry Porter, off balance shot. And Dan Marley will shoot free throws.
The Suns still moving the ball, recognizing that the Blazers are scrambling defensively, doing a nice job of touch passes, quick passes, forcing the defense to move. When you can do that, you create a lot of holes, and guys like Dan Marley can go right to the basket.
Got a pretty good shiner under his left eye.
Well, he's the kind of guy, if anybody on the team is going to have one, it's going to be Dan Marley, because he's the one who sticks his nose into all the frays underneath the basket.
Back to a 2-point edge now for Phoenix. They took the lead for the first time in this half at 199 on a Hornacek basket. Duckworth chases down the loose ball. 10 on the shot clock. Porter and Johnson. Terry Porter penetrates and gets the runaway basket. Tough shot.
Terry Porter's accustomed to making the big shots here. I'm sure we'll see that again.
Hornacek. Rambis tries to set the pick. And penetrates, they couldn't find him. Rambis. Offensive foul.
Rambis called for the hook foul as he tried to spin off Duckworth and go to the baseline. You see his left arm and his elbow.
That's 3 fouls on Rambis. Now Kersey looks to Clyde Drexler. Hornacek and Marley come over to double team him. Skip pass all the way back to Terry Porter. Buck Williams saves it to Kersey. And Chambers hustles for the rebound, out-fighting Terry Porter. Tie ball game, 4:05 to go. Phoenix doing an excellent job on the board. Timeout. Phoenix Suns. Well, take a breath. We've got 4 minutes. More NBA excitement comes your way on Thursday night from 9 o'clock at 9 o'clock Eastern time. We'll have Game 6 of the Western Final from Arizona Veterans Memorial Coliseum, and then on Friday night, the Eastern Conference Final, Game 6, Detroit at Chicago. That's a 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time start, Eastern Daylight Time. We are tied 109, 4:01 remaining. Phoenix with 3 timeouts. Portland with 3. The Blazers have 1 foul to give. Kevin Johnson, 11 of 18 from the field thus far, 14 assists. And Dan Marley will inbound. We'll set the players on the floor for you. Marley, Johnson, Rambis. Here's Hornacek way outside. And Duckworth has it taken away by a hustling Kurt Rambis.
That's certainly a mental error at this point in time. Every rebound to squeeze the air out of it, hold it in a place where it's unreachable.
Johnson. Terry Porter, who is a terrific defensive player, backs away. Chambers for 3. No. Offensive rebound. Marley.
And what we mentioned at the beginning of this telecast, the Phoenix Suns have been beating the Portland Trail Blazers at their own game. Now, maybe they aren't equal in rebounds, but the offensive rebounds they're getting right now may prove to be the difference. Too many opportunities.
Hornacek passes on the shot. Back to Kevin Johnson. There's the pick and roll. Johnson off the mark. Rebound, Portland. Buck Williams. That's his 8th rebound. Clyde Drexler calls for the ball to Terry Porter, who never looked his way. He's Iron Kersey. And Jerome Kersey will go to the free throw line.
And we just saw an exchange, Vern, where the Trailblazers, playing good defense, even though they gave up second and third chances to the Suns, still played excellent defense, got the rebound. That's what had to step forward for them, their defense. And when you look at the playoffs, it's a situation where they've held teams under 107 points, they're undefeated. The problem is the Suns have 109.
Kersey gets his first free throw of the night. Mark West comes back in. Portland at the free throw line. This will be the 26th free throw tonight. Phoenix has shot 28, so they're relatively easy, even. And Kersey gets them both. 111, 109, 2:50 to go.
Each time down on defense, the Blazers are getting a standing ovation.
Kevin Johnson at the other run. Jerome Kersey to Drexler.
How did he see him? How did he see him?
What a pass by Jerome Kersey. Two minutes, 39 seconds remaining, and watch this marvelous pass by Jerome Kersey.
Well, in playoff situations, recognizing opportunities is so important. And Kersey was looking to the outside. You don't know how he got vision of Clyde Drexler. He just had to know he was there.
There's the view from on high. And back-to-back baskets by Terry Porter and Clyde Drexler have now given the Blazers a 4-point edge with 2:39 to go in the ball game.
Certainly now you expect to see Kevin Johnson trying to utilize any opening he can to put pressure on the Blazer defense.
They isolate him on the right side. Underneath the Chambers, double team with Porter going back, and Johnson will take the jumper. No. Drexler rebound. Buck Williams. Hand him the shot clock. Jerome Kersey. 2 minutes remaining, a 4-point margin. Hornacek gives it to Marley underneath the mark. And West is fouled, but keep in mind, he's not that great a free throw shooter. Kevin Duckworth takes the foul.
And again, you talk about fatigue. Kevin Duckworth, the last one to get down. West beating him down. Then layoff for 4 weeks at the beginning of the playoffs has hurt Duckworth, particularly in his conditioning. His team needs him out there. They're going to leave him here, but he's got to get up and down the floor.
One of two cuts the lead to 3 with 1:50 remaining. Winner goes up 3 games to 2 in the best-of-7 series. And Portland undefeated at home in the playoffs this year. Porter. West off the tip, and Chambers gets it. Kevin Johnson. Shot clock at 10. Marley. What a job by Dan Marley. A 1-point margin, 1:14 to go. Drexler has Hornacek in his face. Buck Williams. Pump fake.
Not the guy you want to shoot the jump shot.
Nope. 53 seconds. Back to Kevin Johnson. Chambers has been cold from the field throughout.
Right in front of his bench, the blocking foul called on Buck Williams. As you see the pass. He's playing Chambers to go that way. Doesn't quite beat him to that spot, though. Buck's feet not quick enough to get himself established.
Tom Chambers, 8 of 9 from the field tonight from the free throw line. That ties it. That puts Phoenix on top and causes a timeout to be called by the Portland Trail Blazers. 47.3 seconds remaining in Game 5. The Suns are up by 1. After falling behind by 4, 113-109, the Suns on a 5-0 run. They have a 1-point edge. Both teams with 2 full timeouts remaining. No 20. 47.3 seconds remaining. See if we can listen in on Rick Adelman. Now here's Cotton Fitzsimmons.
Going to the hoop on it. All right, we get this ball. We're running with it.
That's Phoenix Suns basketball, as Cotton Fitzsimmons would say. We get this ball, we're running with it. And the man on his right was Lionel Hollins.
Well, certainly, if the Blazers have anything to do with it, they're going to get the ball out of the net. You look for a situation where there's going to be a lot of movement, but essentially I think the matchup between Clyde Drexler and Jeff Hornacek on the post, as well as Terry Porter and Kevin Johnson outside of the spread floor, is going to do it.
Now here's Porter on Kevin Johnson. Back screen set for Clyde Drexler. Good switch now, and Marley is on Drexler. Foul is called on Dan Marley.
Certainly the Suns anticipated it's going to Clyde Drexler, and as you mentioned, a nice switch that forced Drexler further out on the floor in order to receive.
Drexler goes to the line. A big night tonight. 30 points. 31.
They can hit another one here. They got 2 points and still an opportunity to get the ball. With 34 seconds left.
A career playoff high of 32 points for Clyde Drexler has given Portland a 1-point edge. Back at Memorial Coliseum in Portland, Oregon, where Clyde Drexler's 2 free throws have put Portland back on top in Game 5. 2 timeouts left for the Trailblazers. Phoenix has 1 left. 34.4 seconds. Last time the Phoenix Suns won here, April 26, 1984.
Simmons said the best play that he could ever design was to get the ball in KJ's hands.
They get it into Tom Chambers.
Terry Porter overplaying Johnson to keep him from getting it.
Still plenty of time on the shot clock. Here's Marley. Sniping through. Hornacek saves it. Loose ball. Buck Williams.
You give credit to Buck Williams for the effort in going after that ball. He's the one that got on the floor. But you give a lot of credit to Terry Porter, number 30. The Suns certainly wanted to get the ball in Kevin Johnson's hands. Terry Porter shadowed him all over the court and forced Dan Marley, the least likely of the people driving to the basket, to try to take matters into his own hands, and you see the result.
And at the line, 30-year-old Buck Williams in his first year for the Trailblazers, where tonight he is 1 of 2.
If I'm the Suns, I think with the type of game we play, I'm getting it out of the net and I'm pushing it, even though I have a timeout.
That's what they'll do. They trail by 3. Kevin Johnson has it. Hornacek puts up the 2-point shot that won't go. Percy with the rebound.
I still don't believe now. Each time in Portland that Phoenix has lost the game, Kevin Johnson has given the ball up in the last few seconds, and I don't understand it. He's the guy that creates so much. The defenses are going to collapse if he gets a step on his man, and then he finds people with open jumpers instead of what Jeff Hornacek had to take. I just can't believe it.
Happened here in Game 2 in the last play when Kevin Johnson tried to find Eddie Johnson in the corner. Turned out later on that Kevin Johnson had run the wrong play and gone to the right, and it was Kevin Johnson who brought that to the attention of the press. He said, that was my fault. And now with 5.2 seconds left, Hornacek sits down. Mike McGee is going to come back in. The coordinating producer of the NBA on CBS is Michael Burks. Tonight's game produced by Bob Stenner and directed by Larry Cavallina. The credential at the half produced by Bob Monsbach. The senior producer of CBS Sports is David Winter. The executive producer of CBS Sports is Ted Shaker. Jerome Kersey at the line. Trailblazers up 5-3. Suns will use their last time out of the game with 5.2 seconds to go. .2 seconds remaining in regulation. Phoenix has now used its last timeout. Portland still has a couple. The Suns never shine in Portland. If Phoenix loses tonight, that'll run the string to 20 consecutive losses. And it would mean that Portland, in addition to taking a 3-2 series edge, maintains its undefeated streak at home in the 1990 NBA playoffs at 9 wins and no defeats. Always has been, Len, one of the tougher places to win if you're a road team.
Well, certainly in 9 years in the NBA, 8 years in the NBA, 2 years in the NBA, we never got to play here, but I don't remember but maybe 2 wins.
That one didn't work.
And since there was no possession, the point of inbounding the ball reverts to half court,
where Jerome Kersey will take it out of bounds. Jeff Hornacek has fouled out. Rambis and West on the bench. Well, the tenor of the series that we talked about at the start of the program certainly has held true. Every game played here, ever so close. Now, the 2 games played thus far down in Phoenix have been dominated by the Phoenix Suns. And you will see Game 6 in Phoenix on Thursday night. Terry Porter. $18 points for Porter.
You got to give him a lot of credit for a great defensive job, even though Kevin Johnson got off offensively a bit. When it counted, Terry Porter was there to keep him from getting the ball.
Here's Clyde Drexler with a steal. No basket. Not that it matters. .120 to 114 the final, and the Trailblazers take a 3-2 lead in this series. Our Miller Lite player of the game is Clyde Drexler with a career playoff high of 32 points tonight, including 6 of 8 in the second quarter, and he is standing by with Leslie Bisson.
Clyde, 20 straight wins in a row over Phoenix. Is there something to this home court advantage?
Well, that's the way it seems, but we're not going to jump to any conclusions until the series is over. I think the team is playing really well right now. If we can go to Phoenix and take this game, we'll really be rolling.
What about your game today, 32 points?
Well, most of it came in transition. I think we played the right, consistent defense, got us into the open court, and a lot of things happened in open court.
You're 1 game from the NBA Finals. What will it take?
Well, the same kind of effort that we gave tonight. Let's do it.
Thank you very much. Back to you, Vern.
All right, Leslie, so for Len Elmore, Leslie Visser, and James Brown, this is Vern Lundquist saying so long from Portland, where our final score was 120 to 114 Portland. CBS continues its coverage of the 1990 NBA playoffs on Thursday night as the Phoenix Suns host Portland in Game 6 of the Western Conference Finals. Then on Friday night, Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals as the Detroit Pistons travel to Chicago to take on the Bulls.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Basketball Association Western Conference Finals has been sponsored by Today's Chevrolet, who invite you to see why nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America. GMAC, the financial services people from General Motors, and by Miller Genuine Draft. When things heat up in the NBA, tap into the cold.
The NBA on CBS, a presentation of CBS Sports. Good night, everybody.